You're watching WPDE News Channel 15.
By surprise.
A storm that spawned tornadoes and waterspouts cut a path of destruction south along the coast.
WPDE News Channel 15 has live reports from up and down the Grand Strand.
From damage to injuries to the cleanup, it all starts right now on WPDE News Channel 15 at 11.
You're watching WPDE News Channel 15 at 11 with Allyson, Floyd, Keith Sterling, weather with meteorologist Ed Piotrowski, and sports with Rich Krampanis. And now the Grand Strand and PD's #1 source for local news, WPDE News Channel 15.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for News Channel 15 at 11 this busy Friday night. I'm Keith Sterling.
And I'm Allyson Floyd.
Well, it has been quite a day here in Myrtle Beach. Along the entire Grand Strand, a massive storm spawned tornadoes that left a path of damage in their wake.
Chief Meteorologist Ed Piotrowski was in our weather center at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion when that tornado went through. Ed joins us now live with more. And Ed, this was certainly not a typical day at work today, was it?
Absolutely not. I can promise you that. We were getting reports around 3 o'clock that there was quite a bit of wind in North Myrtle Beach. I happened to step outside the pavilion here, look northward, and there was this massive funnel cloud, a waterspout, if you will, over the ocean, actually moving ashore, and eventually came right over the pavilion, right over our weather center, knocked all the power out. Frankly, was in fear of my own life because this tornado was going directly over the Myrtle Beach Pavilion and knocked a lot of our equipment out. And then it actually moved southward. And we've got some incredible video to show you. And we want to thank all the folks that were kind enough to drop by the Weather Center and give us this video if we can. Let's take a look at that. The first piece of video showing the waterspout actually over land. Well, that's not exactly the one, but this is incredible video. You can see just a tremendous circulation there with the winds just being sucked into the center, and a tremendous amount of debris as well. The funnel itself is hard to see in that particular piece of video, but no doubt it was creating some damage there. Now we're going to show you one that was shot right here from the Myrtle Beach Pavilion with our tower cam. It was looking south, and we had it live on the air around 4:30 this afternoon. What an incredible funnel cloud you're seeing here, that very long strip there of clouds. Meanwhile, around that, you see what we call the debris cloud. That's when it actually touches the ground and starts kicking up all kinds of dust and debris and junk, and that's when we had quite a bit of damage. That's looking south at the 2nd Avenue North Pier, literally just 6 blocks from where we are right now. So no doubt it was an incredible afternoon. I think the thing that scared me more than anything, Keith and Allyson, was watching this tornado go directly over the Myrtle Beach Pavilion amusement park when there were quite a few people in there, but luckily very, very few injuries, and if there were any, they were very, very minor.
You know, Ed, we talk about it all the time, severe weather in the area, but I guess we never expect something of this magnitude to be so close to home like that.
Absolutely, especially, and we're going to get into this a little bit later on, the direction it came from and all the different ingredients that came together today.
All right,
All
Ed,
right.
Checking out a few, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Ed. Well, as Ed mentioned, before the twister made its way down the coast, the funnel cloud formed just north of the pavilion.
Yeah, take a look at this video. You're looking at an area near Ripley's, believe it or not. If you can make it out, Ripley's is at the bottom of your screen. Now look off to the left. You see that little spark there? That's when the funnel began to form and the strong winds blew out some power there. And on that left end of the screen, that's when the swirling started. If you can make it out on the left there, you can see it's starting to form there. And then from there, it moved over the pavilion, down the coast, and finally to that video that you saw a few moments ago that Ed was talking about. And we've had dozens of calls from viewers tonight up and down the Grand Strand who captured the storm on video.
We have some home video shot along the Grand Strand. Now this is from the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. This is through the pavilion gates. As you can see, that funnel cloud, the waterspout coming on shore, becoming a tornado. Certainly a frightening time for a lot of tourists as well as residents on the Grand Strand.
Yeah, and part of that video you could see two people just running, scurrying for cover. There again, some formations beginning. And that's something we've been talking about as well, and Ed will touch on a little bit later, that we've had several reports of several funnels popping up around the Grand Strand. So it wasn't just one in one particular location. A lot of the reason for concern among residents not knowing what was coming next. And the tornadoes that you've just seen there left plenty of damage in their wake up and down the Grand Strand. We've had crews all along the area. We begin our live team coverage tonight, Myrtle Beach, where Jim Armstrong is standing by with more on how it looks there. Jim.
Well, Keith and Allyson, we are live on 3rd Avenue North. We've been here for several hours today, and this is one of the hardest hit residential areas in all of Myrtle Beach. Take a look with me at this house that you can see behind me here. Severe damage. The tornado actually picked the house up from its foundation moved it about 15 or 20 feet off of its foundation. You can see it there. Owner tells me the house is unlivable right now. Let's go ahead now and take a look at some of the video we shot earlier today of the cleanup efforts on this street. Now, this street again was among the hardest hit by today's tornadoes. Luckily, no one was at the house that where I'm standing at right now when the tornado hit. Of course, that's good news. That happened in many cases in our area. No one was here because they happened to be elsewhere at the time. And that means, of course, that the number of injuries was certainly kept to a minimum. We heard only about minor injuries from most people. Now, the owner says he expects this house to probably be condemned, which is a shame, he tells us, because family and friends have lived in it since the 1920s. Now, we talked to two different homeowners today who tell me once they got past sort of the shock and surprise at everything that had happened, believe it or not, they felt relief because even though the damage was pretty severe, their families are okay.
Couldn't believe it. It's just one of those things, I suppose. The house has been here since the late 20s, I understand, and never expected to see that.
It's just really weird, you know. What do I do now? What do you do next? Thank God I'm alive. It's only material things. We're blessed that we have our children and they're safe.
Houses were spared. Everyone whose houses were spared, you can see there, actually came out in force to help their friends and neighbors take care of their homes, cover them up, prevent any more damage from happening. Truly a group effort. You can see there we were let inside one of the homes, windows completely blown out. You can see there a tremendous mess to clean up. Neighbors tell me they expect to be cleaning up well into the night hours tonight. If they have to, they told me, they will be cleaning up using flashlights, just trying to make some sense of what all happened. There are a lot of damage, as you can see, in people's homes. Some tell me they're trying to get in touch with insurance agents now, trying to just start the process of rebuilding, looking for another place to live tonight because in many instances, people simply don't have a place to live. Now again, we're probably about 150 rather, or 200 yards away from the Atlantic Ocean where we're standing right now. People who live in this area are accustomed to nature having its way, and they expect, for example, in the event of a hurricane, for some storms to come up here and to essentially wreak havoc with their homes. The key difference is, from what I'm being told, with a hurricane, you have 3 or 4 days worth of lead time, sometimes as much as a week, to know that a storm is coming, to make your house safe, to get your family out, to get yourself out. But as eyewitnesses told me, this particular storm made its path off the ocean and onto land in as short as maybe 10 or 15 minutes, sending people absolutely scurrying from the beach. Again, luckily, as far as we know right now, no one killed in this storm. Some severe, or rather some not severe, injuries from people who are actually cleaning up afterwards, so we certainly have that to be thankful for. Reporting live in Myrtle Beach, Jim Armstrong, Wpde News Channel 15.
Thanks a lot.